Numerous conflicts in the world are deepening and intensifying, which on the one hand correspond to the American doctrine of the clash of civilizations, but on the other hand the collective West is weakening economically, militarily and politically, thereby reducing the possibility of turning the situation in its favor by creating controlled chaos. The process of global repositioning has entered in dangerous phase when the power centers of the collective West, not wanting to lose their levers of the power, show their readiness to go all the way in the world destabilization. Therefore, there is the danger of opening new fronts in addition to the existing ones where Ukraine and Palestine currently have a particularly high intensity of conflict. Western powers are also working intensively to destabilize Central Asia, Balkans, as well as the Caucasus. The war in Palestine is not developing in the favor of Zionist regime, which has shown a great weakness of the military and intelligence forces, and on the other hand has directed aggression against the civilian population, which is causing strong reactions and condemnation through all the world. The United States of America, which is the main sponsor of this regime, is primarily driven by its own interest, and due to the weakening of its own positions, it will be ready to sacrifice its allies. American strategist Henry Kissinger once said, "Being America's enemy is dangerous, but being America's friend is disaster." This should be borne in mind by all the strategic partners of the US, including Europe. In this regard, I think that Israel has no future and that the US itself will deny them aid in a certain point. It is much more important for US plans to preserve relations with the structures of radical Islam, through which they are trying to destabilize Russia and China as the two biggest geopolitical rivals. It should also be borne in mind that the actions of the US in the Middle East have led to the increase in anti-American sentiment since the escalation of the conflict in Gaza Strip on October 7 last year. The US military has been attacked more than 140 times in Syria and Iraq, including rocket attacks. The main adversaries of the US in the Middle East are the forces of the resistance axis, which have consolidated and are applying good tactics in the fight against the US occupation forces. These actions led to the displacements of American forces, which will be forced to evacuate, but they will try to maintain certain mechanisms of influence, as in the case of Afghanistan. As they lose on the fronts, the Western powers have intensified terrorism as the main means by which they think to prevent geopolitical changes. So we have a problem today with the international terrorism organized by certain Western countries, as well as the extremist terrorist structures controlled by them. Therefore, the common task of all of us is to fight against the international terrorism as well as to stop the prevent military conflicts.